Hey,
Whoa, wait. I know that guy?
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Where do I know that face?
Oh man, I don't know, man.
Yeah, we're checking
Yeah.
in because he was a little too close to what happened. We got to see what's going on with JB. So straight up. So
Yeah.
so how you
Yeah,
Just
doing,
so
that
yeah,
JB?
two
yeah,
folks
introduce yourself to the audience,
Yeah.
John Ramsey.
Yeah. I'm a Brooklyn College screenwriting major. I got a job after getting my GED from the door where I met Messiah in the film class there. And I got a job for 3 years working for Newsweek magazine. And I got into photojournalism. So it's been kind of like a unplanned creative journey. And I've gone back and forth between photography, photojournalism, creative writing, and last thing I was doing was working as a contributing. I still am contributing writer for the Crime Report, which is a criminal justice news agency attached to John Jay College of Criminal Justice, and Sunset Park resident for 17 years. And
Seven.
this
So there
morning
we
I
go. We
was
got some.
down in right by the 36th Street station getting an egg sandwich and a coffee. Right around when people started coming out of the train station. And usually, if something's happened, I've seen people, stab or heard of, stabbings, been there in the train station, altercations, and it's usually isolated between two people or something. This was totally different. This was like people fleeing and not looking back. And then I started to see a little smoke. And then
Smoke.
I heard sirens and ambulances, and it was like a police, FDNY, special unit, crush, and choppers. And then I said, I think I'm going to go home.
So the
It's
smoke
probably
that you
time
saw,
to,
like it wasn't the world's
go
biggest blunt.
inside. And it was not surreal because seeing people screaming and running in New York is not really surreal. But to have it happening at 36th Street Station, like, because you knew it wasn't just a squabble or a problem. There was a shooting going on or a bomb, because there's not that many people running like that for, something like an altercation down there. And that was really bizarre. And when I realized when I got home and started seeing the news and stuff, that there had been 10 people shot, 16 injured. It was breaking. The numbers were changing. Saw it, and the guy was at large. I thought, well, all these police got there. They surrounded the place. There's choppers over my apartment on 40th and 5th Avenues. That's about 5 blocks away. And this guy, there's no trace of him. And the camera that could have got him was like messed up. And that station I've been going to, and they don't really have like security in there unless they're letting out the kids from the school. Then there's like cops down there because there's a second opportunity school 2 blocks away from 36th Street, and then the local high school.
That's what
But
the
other than
$10 billion
that,
budget is for. It's for
when the
teenagers.
poor kids are coming out, get them on the trains, get them going home, whatever, get them away from the station. But it's usually pretty like free of police, and that's never bothered me. But like my mother had mentioned it, my ex-girlfriend had mentioned it, noticed it, and apparently this guy noticed it too. And so it's like all of this money, all of these resources coming to police, coming to security after the fact, when the system, it's not directly involved with law enforcement, is so poorly resourced that it allows for the crime, the low, and it's like, this is not an active shooter situation.
I mean, he did disappear and leave the gun. He did.
Yeah, I mean, the gun was found, I think, in the train station somewhere. There was like a couple magazines. that guy knew his business. And now, I mean, they were like looking at like bridges and stuff. Like, that guy's probably somewhere like in a 10-block radius right now. And you know, it's disturbing because it feels like the city, it reminds me mostly like that the city is changing so fast that people are being uprooted. And now 36th Street is a commuter hub where people for various reasons would want to do a mass shooting. And yet this guy doesn't seem to be completely mentally ill or incoherent, or he wouldn't have been able to execute it like he did. So
I mean, he was
it just makes me
misguided.
feel a little bit out of touch with how fast things are changing in this neighborhood, and who lives here, and how the police do their job in concert, you know, with the rest of the social services, like the MTA is not a social service really, but
I mean, it's like that.
It's like a utility, though.
You know, they ought to know that security camera's fucked up. But
I don't think they're expecting anything of consequence to happen there.
No, but the thing is, we actually reported about this. We actually reported about this a few months ago about how like MTA workers are pretty much getting beaten up by mentally ill people, by being robbed, and that was happening before all this. So like MTA workers were trying to, hey, we need help. You guys, we getting asses beaten up by people, and but yet that wasn't being heard. Obviously, that hasn't been heard because the cameras were fucking broken in 36th Street. So obviously they didn't give a fuck what those MTA workers were dealing with. And here we are. So
yeah.
So I really want to, instead of showing like the dramatic, horrible footage of what happened, I'm gonna show the Minecraft version of the subway station. Instead of showing, you know, people running for their lives, which everyone else is doing, which is traumatizing. So I want to show just the Minecraft version of it, so you guys can keep talking about it. So this is the Minecraft version of 36th Street Station.
Well, that's a really clean Minecraft version of the.
I was gonna say, who the fuck made that quickly?
Yeah.
No, this is from way back. This shows you how 36th Street people know about 36th Street. It's like this has been made a long time ago.
Yeah. Where's the peeling walls and ceilings and glitter?
The dripping limestone,
women and push carts and people sleeping.
People sleeping. There's
I don't know why Master Chief is in there.
You know, over nothing.
Oh, there goes the homeless guy you were talking about sleeping in the subway.
People, you know, I'm going to call these people. I've heard some ridiculous shit.
So this kind of gives you an idea of what the station
looks like, because that is pretty accurate as far as
those two platforms. There's a platform for Manhattan bound, and there's a platform for Bay Ridge, Coney Island bound, further into Brooklyn. So if somebody was to get out,
there's only one way to get out of the station. But the thing, he stayed on the train. He pretty much
better book it to the state out of the station, because
the thing is, he attacked a bunch of people
like
and he stayed on the train.
Places to hide or be unseen. But I think the guy did most of the shooting. This is like he was staying in control. I think he did all of the shooting from 25th to 36th after he threw out those smoke bombs or whatever, so people couldn't see. That's why I'm like, this guy's. They're not going to catch
like
him.
John Wick or some shit.
He came in from Arizona on a U-Haul. Like, who is this guy? Like a fucking hitman from like Naples? I mean, it's crazy.
They said he came on a U-Haul from Arizona?
No, they had Arizona plates. They had Arizona plates, which kind of all U-Haul have.
Shady
Arizona. But the thing is, he did drive out of town. He didn't come from. He wasn't here.
Yeah, because we don't have people with those kinds of talents here in New York like that. We don't have that.
Yeah.
So this is the gritty version of 36th Street. I'm going to share with you guys. So just give you a vibe of how 36th Street is for you. So you
I mean, it still looks like the Minecraft version.
Still looks like the Minecraft.
And that's a very nice also. I mean, it's never that bright.
It's never that bright.
No, it's the ISO settings on that camera. That's what it is.
What dude says never that bright.
Floors in there. That must have been right after the clean crew just came through.
That's like. And the thing about 36th Street, you can't tell if it's rush. You can't tell if it's rush hour or if it's 3 o'clock in the morning because it's somehow still packed.
Lucy Bell 71 says, if there were truly affordable housing options, emphasis on infrastructure, affordable, accessible healthcare, living wages, bare survival minimum for disabled people. But nope, stuffing the coffers of cops and militarized enforcement accoutrements.
Yeah, and all of that enforcement and stuff is ineffective when you've got somebody who's really dangerous. And
that's a good fucking point.
It's upsetting that there's not more investment in from the grassroots, from people living in the community, from assessments, the community level of what kind of things make a place safe. Like James Jacobs used to talk about sidewalk community in the North End in Boston. Little nuances of people meeting in the street, the markets, things like none of that is ever factored into urban planning nowadays.
No, it's not. It's like, but it is for rich people who
really
live
rationalized.
Who live in like high-rise condos. They have like the private public space.
Yeah. I mean, I think they were probably not commuting because they were in some of the like coffee shops working on their laptops. So it's probably like more like working people.
Yeah, it was all working class people going to work. Yeah, that's even more like unsettling. It was like just people minding their business, probably half asleep.
Yeah,
I don't think 36th Street area and Sunset Park has been. I don't think they've been completely gentrified. And my memory of the neighborhood is that it is all working class people there, almost all.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's still very dominant majority working class. Central American immigrants, Asian immigrants, and also a long-standing Puerto Rican, Dominican population, and new kind of yuppie residents. So not all white, but people who are willing to pay the rents and can afford to, and are not long-term residents. Still a minority, and they don't. The atmosphere is not determined by them, their presence. I mean, certain things really kind of shocked me, like when I saw a city bike rack outside of Sunset Park and little things like that dotted here and there, but it's overwhelmed by mom and pop stores and the other larger community that was there before.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like, it's not like shitty hipster, like all white boutiques that are in Sunset Park.
Still got Dunkin' Donuts over there.
I don't know how it isn't more gentrified, really. It's kind of interesting how the working class community here, a lot of it immigrant of color, has stayed holding their ground. And
that's where I would see people pee sometimes late night. That's where people be peeing. We seeing their backs, taking a leak over there,
or just sort of swaying back and forth.
I thought you said Paychex protection.
They zoom in right there. That's where people be peeing sometimes. Where you zooming in right now, right there.
I swear to God, I thought you said PPP. And I'm like, yo, like they running like loan scams over there, like talking about.
Yeah, I mean, it's a station where you see clothing on the tracks.
Like someone disappeared, like a Jedi or some shit, get struck down.
Tote bags, but they're they keep to themselves. But it's way overwhelmed by neighborhood people, not yet.
Yeah, it's definitely. That's what I'm saying. I was saying before, sometimes you can't tell if it's rush hour or is it 3 o'clock in the morning because somehow still mad people waiting for a train at 36th Street.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, no, I mean, it's the D or the N. So it is a busy station, but definitely a change if you're in the morning in terms of who's filling the station, within the station.
Oh, yeah.
And the behavior of people. But no, it doesn't run on a rush hour like commuting schedule the way that maybe places where that are a little bit more gentrified A lot of people work in the neighborhood. A lot of people are going back and forth between the region from Bay Ridge or over to Borough Park. Yeah, I mean, the Jewish community is not far away either. So it's a very diverse, and that's part of why people are being drawn to it, because it's an interesting, dynamic area. Not too gentrified yet, but that's going to probably go away. But then again, I would have thought it would have already gone away more by now. So I don't know. I'm not sure. I think that the community board here is really organized, from what I've heard from people.
I mean, it has to be if they're still like,
yeah,
still holding on.
Yeah.
Keep holding on.
Yeah, that's the song I'm sure that they sing before each commencement. Yeah, before the meetings. That would be popular with the board members. Probably not anybody attending. Yeah, because the people on the board are not necessarily representative of the neighborhood, but they're not intransigent, old-timey white people either. But there's some lack of representation on the board for sure. But that's, I mean, I'd say that the shooting all happened underground. People came out and they were like bolting it. People looked like they'd been shot. I couldn't see blood. I didn't know if they were fainting or having an issue. I didn't stick around, but what I saw was
we don't do that's New Yorkers. We don't do that.
Yeah, I'm gonna stick around because people are running, looking like they got shot.
We don't do that here.
For me to be waiting around to see what they're running from.
So they can catch you.
Yeah, so you get a taste.
But no, it was
scary.
It was terror. I mean, it was definitely not like anything I'd ever seen before in terms of the numbers of people and how nobody was kind of trotting and looking over their shoulder. Like they were moving as fast as they could. And then people were helping others too. And when I saw the smoke and heard the sirens, that was when my observing time ended. And I thought about myself and I said, I got to get out of here. And part of me was sort of like, should I help out? Or, that was sort of an issue I thought about when I got home. But the choppers were, they've been going around all day, and they locked it down over there. And there was all this media. But to what effect? You see all this capital, all this money, all this investment. The guy pulled off, shot 10 people, injured 17 people, and was clean in like 20 minutes. And there's no trace. And the surveillance system was broken. I think you see the lack of any kind of really consistent social policy that integrates law enforcement and the community in a democratic way perfectly in that example. The over muscle of enforcement after a crime happens in a public service system that's underfunded and which enables him to escape. So I think it's a picture that you could elaborate on as a test case for the discontinuity between people who are planners.
And we had less intense situations than this. Earlier we had that one guy who put his poop all over some old lady. He smeared his poop all over a lady, and that was on camera. That was actually on camera. He smeared poop over this lady at a subway stop. He did it on. I think he did it on.
I used to, but this was really
but he used to.
That I don't get. Like I'm like, oh well,
JB, let me ask you this question. Let me ask you this question, JB. Would you be surprised if you found out that the perpetrator was in law enforcement somewhere?
Oh, protected? Not really, because I have a little bit of the story of corrupt law enforcement in Boston, where it was extreme with Whitey Bulger and his FBI informant handler, and a guy who was a mentor to me, whose younger brother, when he was 13, was convicted of a crime where they falsified the call to the police. So police corruption to me is not something that is something like I meet with disbelief. I don't investigate that element of how deep, how broad corruption is at different levels in New York, but that's a possibility to me. I mean, the FBI was there.
Because that level of talent and also access to gas, smoke bombs.
He's gun jammed, so he wasn't that talented.
But you can't do anything about your gun jamming. You can't do anything about that. But
he can't do it about it. You're an expert. You're expert. You're gonna murder a whole bunch of people. You're not gonna get a gun that's occasionally is gonna jam like a Glock.
Most guns do have that problem though of jamming.
No, not the AK-47. You can throw that shit in the mud and take it out and murder everybody.
But other weapons. Guns. But
so that's the thing. I know more than he does, obviously. So luckily, he doesn't know that shit. So his gun jammed. So it could have been a way more horrible situation. So he had
smoke. He had like smoke grenades and stuff. Like that sounds like somebody with training.
Yeah, but he also had. But the thing, it was smoke grenades, but also had like shitty fireworks you get at Pennsylvania when you drive to Pennsylvania. You also had that kind of stuff too. So,
I just think that him being able to get in and get out, he knew where there was a weak area in the transit system where there wouldn't be a lot of cops. It just sounds like there's too much planning from somebody that knows too much.
We got on the train with a 15-foot crane jib. Remember that? You don't know what the fuck we were doing. So that's the thing. Don't give this man too much credit because we got on the train with a 50
Dude, that shit was fucking heavy. We did that shit on a Sunday night.
People about it. So we got on and got off about that without being stopped by the police or nothing like that.
Even if he's not like, Tinker Tailor, fucking spy, like, elite murderer, I'd say not getting caught,
like Navy SEAL,
seen, and being at large now with the way that they were coming over the, casing the place afterward, and being able to fire that many rounds without making a mistake in terms of focusing on getting out at the right time, not moving. He was undetected, pretty much.
Yeah.
So that's a certain level of presence of mind during a very extreme, hectic situation. The
nerve to stay on the subway after you murdered a whole bunch of people.
Yeah.
The nerve to do that.
Yeah, I think you have to have some kind of professional experience to do that.
So if he was, if you're critiquing how flawless the whole thing went, surely, maybe he's not, somebody like, a Saudi Arabian hitman in Turkey or something, but it was pretty unusual to get off that many shots and hit that many people when you can't see.
Right. And of the 10 people he hit, not a single one of them had a life-threatening wound. Like that's also kind of suspicious to me too, in a way.
And unfortunately, we have to just hear what the police are going to tell us. What the cops tell us. So.
Yeah, I'm really looking forward to that. Yeah.
The police are going to, nothing. I mean, it'll be like a police state in that station for a while or forever. And they're ready for what already happened and they weren't there for it. So that'll be the message. They're doubling down on their incompetence.
You have Eric Adams says that he wants to. He agrees with. He wants to. If he had his way, he'll put metal detectors in the subway stations, which sounds like children of men.
But you don't want to put working cameras in it, though.
You want to give mental health facilities or homeless shelters.
If you got a gun and you slip through, the cameras are broken.
Soon they're going to want to put metal detectors on your cars. Like you want to go use your car, you have to go through a metal detector.
So I want to share. I just want to share this clip because
change in my pockets, I probably get picked up every other day. It's $1
your commute,
quarter, okay?
Your commute will be slowed down because you have too much change in your pocket.
Yeah, you're jingling a lot, and
you're jingling, baby.
It's give it wrong.
So I want to share. Before we let you go, JB, I want to share this clip of what Eric Adams wants to do to New York City. So we actually be talking about that. He just wants that's how many cops. How many cops is how much agency once all over the city. This one cops is lined up and down the street because how many more police can you have? New York City already has 35,000 police officers. We have a budget that's larger than some countries' military budgets.
Yo, so do you know what Eric Adams says every time he goes to plant evidence on somebody? He says, me.
He just wants cops is lined up like this, like it's like lined up in the subway station.
This and he got homeless people in garbage bags behind him.
Yeah.
So many cops need to make like mannequins of them because we can't get enough bodies for it. So
yeah. I mean, it's like 100,000 cops per one person who's gonna like maybe go crazy and flip out. I mean, what kind of approach is that? I mean, what a waste of resources.
So my solution is to make mannequin cops like this. Just set them up everywhere, like scarecrows.
Lucy Bell says, imagine everyone taking off their shoes and belts at the turnstile every day. You're going to have to get up 3 hours early to go to work.
Cause mayhem and violence, you can do it with a paper, a piece of paper. If you know what you're doing well enough, I mean.
Yeah, that's the thing. That's the thing about this 9/11 thing. Like, but 9/11, they make you take your pants off. They make you take your shoes off. You have to dig in your hair. But the guys use fucking box cutters.
People can get out of those planes. I mean, depending on who you're dealing with. So, and only a few people can cause a lot of damage. So, I mean, you see the results. More police, more safety. It's really social removal. Move poor people out, lock them up. So, and then over police.
So they can be affordable labor in the prison system.
I mean, I'm a person that is very conspiratorial in thinking, and I cannot shake the thought that the NYPD co-sponsored this attack to show everybody how much we need 600,000 police officers.
Maybe it was Eric Adams who did it because he's been missing it because of COVID. He's isolated because of COVID.
And he's black, so he uses smoke bombs in the subway. He can get in and out.
It was Eric Adams.
He's a cop too. They'd have his back.
Yeah, but he wants to show how much we need more. We don't need a $5 billion a year NYPD budget. We need a $35 billion a year NYPD budget.
And close all the hospitals, close all the schools, just give the cops all the money.
That's well done.
And turn everybody into Eric Adams.
Those conspiracies are documented, the evidence throughout history that is a tactic that states use. So I don't think you have to reach too much into speculation without hard evidence to back it up.
Yeah, because
prior art.
Before we wrap this up, like I said, we have to wait for the police to give us what's going to happen. So God knows what the police. This next segment, we're going to talk about the cops, which is their evidence, which was video evidence, and they still let the cops go. So that's Black Power Magic Hour with special guest JB, checking on him that he's safe and sound. He's been in Sunset Park for 17 years. The Black Power Magic Hour, we're live on Twitter, Twitch, Facebook until Zuckerberg hunts us down like wild animals. And then Dr. V is genius. He's live talking shit and driving his car at the Wegmans on Twitch, YouTube, Facebook. And that's politics as usual.
Yeah. Well, you know what? I look forward to being asked back. Can always provide a perspective on, that you don't hear always from people who look like me, and you know what I mean.
Because people coming out chat all the time and calls out racists and bigots. They
And we had James from the internet on.
Yeah.
They just look at the title of the show and they start talking shit, and it's you don't actually watch the show at all.
You don't watch the show. Like, what about white power? Like, what? Like, dude.
Yeah, we've already seen that. We already seen what white power can do.
Yeah, white power doesn't mean the same thing as other kinds.
It doesn't mean the same thing. Yeah, I guess he doesn't get that. The people
I can't understand you. Go back to your country.
Appreciate you, JB. We're checking with you soon.
Whites losing power. Whites without power. That's probably what should be called.
That would be like the electric grid going down. That's what that is. Bad infrastructure in the United States.
I mean, it looks like Putin bombing Ukraine.
In something other than electricity. I don't think it would span too far out of rural Kentucky and West Virginia, but yeah, it's the same thing. Is that no matter how low down you are on the social status, there's always someone lower than you, and those are the people who reach for that kind of thinking.
Yeah,
it's a never-ending lowerarchy.
Yep, he said a lowerarchy. That works way too well. That's a ring to it.
Yeah, so appreciate you, JB. We'll check with you soon.